So now we're going to get started on the envelope. So first you're going to cut a base piece that is 8 inches tall by 5 5/8 inches wide. You're not going to score this, so just put this aside. Then you're going to have a top flap. The top flap will be 8 inches tall by 4 1/2 inches wide. Put it in the scoreboard with the 4 1/2 inch on top, and you're going to score it at 3 1/4, 3 1/4 by 3 3/8, 3 3/8. So that's going to give you an 1/8 of an inch gusset. The bottom flap is going to be 8 inches tall by 5 inches. Put it with the 5 inch on top, and you're going to score this one at 4. Let's see, 4 and 4 1/8. So there's the other 1/8 of an inch gusset. Then you're going to have two pieces that are 1 3/4 by 4 inches. So you're going to put it with the 1 3/4 on top, and you're going to score it. Let me see, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 7/8 of an inch, and 1 1/4, and 1 1/4. So 1/2 inch, 7/8 of an inch, and 1 1/4. So you are going to fold and burnish all these pieces at those score marks. These 1/8 of an inch, just try to keep this lined up so it's nice and straight. Those 1/8 of an inch are hard to form. They're so tiny. So those two pieces are done. So with these, what you're going to do is with the middle one, go ahead and let's see, I just want fold it right in the middle, that middle score mark. And then turn the bottom one up. Flip it around, turn the other one up. So you should have a piece that looks like this. You can see that. Same thing, fold it in the middle. Be like that. So put these to the side. We'll use these later. So with the bottom piece here, so let's see, how did I do this? This is going to be like this. So this is going to be attaching to the base. But first we need to put a notch in here. So we're going to notch it. So here's the part that has that big flap right there. You're going to put this part in, the straight part in up here, 2 7/8. 2 7/8. Have to put it up to my eyes to see it. 2 7/8. 2 7/8. get your X-Acto knife out. Come on, let go. Put that away. So once you have everything folded and burnished, get your base piece. And this part that you just cut the notch out, this is the bottom part. You're going to open this up, and you're going to be putting either glue or tape along this lip right here, and you're going to be putting the base piece up to that first score mark so you don't go into that gusset. Just get it lined up and put it up to my eye so it's going to be right there. I use tape, so I'll be doing that. And then same thing with this the top piece. You got your gusset. You're going to be adhering the base to this first score mark right there. And you put your tape or glue here. I'm going to use my tape, and I'll be right back. I'm going to put those down. So next, what you're going to do is, I already put on my tape, but you're going to dry fit these pieces in. They were cut to 4 inches, and I had to trim off like just a little hair at the top because you want it to sit in here snug like that, and you don't want it to go over the top of the pocket here of this envelope. So I've trimmed mine down, and it's going to fit in that 1/8 of an inch gusset like that. I don't know if you can see that. So I will adhere this one down here. You want this part to face inward. See where it's pointing in? You want that to point in to your envelope there. And you'll do the same thing with this one. Have it so it points in like that, and dry fit this one also, and then get these down here. You don't have to close this yet, just get these down. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so those two are in. I'm not going to close it up yet until I decide what paper I'm going to put in here. And the next thing you can do is you can round the corners on these upper flaps. And I use the large corner rounder of my corner rounder. Okay, so now we need to decide which paper we're going to be using. We will be adding some magnets, but I guess we could transfer them now, but it doesn't really matter. First, we've got to figure out what paper we're going to be using. So this is what I'm thinking and probably going to be doing for this envelope. It's going to look something like this. So what I used, here's my ribbon and this. This is from the 8-inch paper, the turtles. I cut it from this side to put this here. And what was left over after I cut it, I put the back side on here. So this is remember this envelope is 8 inches. This is 8 inches tall. This is an 8 by 8 paper. So what I did is I punched it just like I did this one, 2 7/8 in, 2 7/8 in, and then I trimmed it down 1/16 on each side. That way this fits in perfectly. That fits in perfectly right there. So that's, you would just cut this to size widthwise, but go ahead and leave this at 8 inches tall, and then do your cut and then trim 1/16, 1/16, and it'll fit perfectly. Ink the edges there. And this was cut to size for here. I went ahead and added my magnets. Got a magnet here, and transferred them over. So it's like that. This is, you want them so this is nice and even. That your gussets are nice and straight. Not that you can see them there, but they're nice and straight there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I can go ahead and put this on now that I have the magnets in. For the inside cover, what I was thinking of doing was using, this is the 12 by 12 turtle paper. I cut it right there. This is 7 7/8 inches wide. And this is going to be going back in like this. I'm thinking of putting this in and then doing some cuts here for the gussets and then putting it down into the pocket. So I can continue my turtles inside the pocket. See what that looks like. Didn't want to use the smaller paper because I want to make something, I want to make a mini album and use this. So I'm going to use the 12 by 12. I think it will look fine. Plus, I'm not going to see it that often anyway. So I'm going to get all that done. I did cut this ribbon from my stash. It's orange and it matches over here. Let me put this back in so you can see what it's going to look like. That goes there like that. That goes there. This is going underneath here. And then my my 1 inch circle die, I cut it in half. That's going to go like that. And then I have a little strip that's going to go in this gusset here. And then I was thinking of using the rest of the 12 by 12 paper and putting that like this. So it would flow like that. So hopefully that makes sense. It's just using the bottom part of this paper that's going to go on the inside of the envelope. This piece that I cut off, just flip it over, and it's going to go like this. And I think that is a good flow through this whole, these 2 pages. So I'm going to get working on that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I got everything cut. I put my magnets in here. This is going to be the flat, but we're not going to be transferring the magnets quite yet. Haven't figured out what we're going to do on the front. But I got the magnets there, so I can cut this piece. So this is going to go there. This is a 5/8 of an inch spine, so this is a 1/2 inch strip. And then this was the leftover piece that's going to go there. So this was all from the 12 by 12. So inside here, I put the rest of that 12 by 12 in there. So it goes all the way down. All I need to do is pull these pieces of tape, close that like that, So that'll adhere down, and then that is like that. So then I put, this is a 1/4 an inch gusset here, so I put an 1/8 of an inch strip in here from this paper. So it's just this little strip from this 12-inch paper. This is going to be going in just to the right of that gusset, so it'll be like that once it's all in. So I'll be putting that in, and that's the way it's going to look. I think I got everything squared up. So that's the way it's going to look. So I think that's real pretty. So something like that. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll be done with this spread in here. So now that you have your envelope in and everything else pretty much built out inside the folio, we can transfer our magnets. So I just put some magnets down over the ones I put under here. On my other folios, I put a 3rd magnet in, and I forgot to here. So hopefully it won't, 2 will be enough, I'm hoping. So I only transfer 1 magnet at a time. So I'm going to close this the way it's going to sit, and then you're going to square up your folio. I got to put it towards my eyes to see. So that looks pretty squared up. So that one's transferred over. And then you just do the same thing for this one here. So I'll transfer that one over, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do for the cover. So now we're ready to do the front cover. So I haven't put anything down, it's just I'm using a temporary glue stick. So let's start with the flap. So the flap is just using this striped paper. This is from the 12 by 12 collection. So this is 1 3/4. So this is going to be an 1/8 of an inch, less in width than 1 3/4. So that's 1 5/8, and then this is 8 inches tall. So ink the edges, and I also like to put black soot around here, just right on the edge, because it's on the front cover and I want it to kind of blend in with the black. So that is going to go here. And make sure you round the corners there. So that goes there. Then we come to this. So this is just using one of the cards from the 12 by 12 collection. You just cut it to the size that it is, and then you mount it on black cardstock that is an 1/8 of an inch wider and taller than the card that you cut. So that is just mounted on black cardstock. And then this is from the 12 by 12 collection, this paper, and this measures, the black cardstock is basically 4 by 6 and 6 3/8. And then this piece is just cut an 1/8 of an inch, like it's less, so it's 3 7/8 by 6 1/4. And then I just put this kind of like up like that. So it's like 1/4 of an inch on top and more on the bottom. So that's that. Then we have this piece. I think this is 1 inch. Let me pull this up. This is an inch. This is an inch wide. Yes. And then I put a little piece of black behind it so I would have a little bit of black edging showing here, because this is going to go right here and I want it to have a black edging here. So that is going to go on the corner here, this left side, and once again ink the edges and then use some black soot to go all the way around just on the edge here. This paper is from the 8x8 and it's 8 inch, everything's 8 inches tall. This, I think I just cut it to 6 1/4. Yeah, 6 1/4. And I started from this side of the paper because I wanted this flower right there. That is kind of, let me just show you. If this goes here, and then this goes over this edging here. I wanted this flower to be kind of in the center of this piece here. So when you close it, it's like that. So you have a little bit of reveal of this paper underneath, and then you have this flower kind of in the center of this card. So this piece is going to be going over this 1 inch stripe paper. Just get it so this is centered and that's where it's going to go over. So that's going to be the front. So I haven't glued anything down. Just make sure you've already transferred your magnets, right? Do not put any of this down. I've already transferred my magnets. So let me take this off. Gotta get all those adhered down. On the sides here, I just cut, this is 5/8 of an inch, so I cut a 1/2 inch strip of this same paper and just kind of need to match it up a little bit better, but this is just going to be wrapping around like this, here and here. So let me get those off. Need to get those adhered down. And in the back, I got this from the 8x8. That is going to go back here, so it's 8 inches tall. This is 6 1/2, so this is 6 3/8 wide. And then this was a scrap paper. I was trying to use this for something else. So I thought, well, I need something down here, so I put that down here. This is like 1 5/8 inches tall, 1 3/4 inches wide, 1 3/4 inches wide, and it's the same as this. And then I found this was just a cut off from this piece. I just found that it was just by accident. I found this in my scraps, and I thought, oh, maybe I can use her. So she's the same, almost the same width as this paper, and I just mounted her on some black cardstock, and I thought I'd put her right there so it'd look like that, and that's going to be the back. So that's basically it for the front, the spines, and the back. So I'm going to get all this down, and then we'll be basically done with the... Oh, the other thing I did, and I didn't show you, was... Where did I put it? I made this little door piece. I call it my little doorknob there. And it's just using some craft cardstock cut out with a circle punch, and then the blue, which I just cut out from here. That's going underneath, and I put some black underneath this piece. I think this was just, yeah, so this is 3/4 of an inch black, and then I cut this out with my 5/8 of an inch punch. And then I had this little chipboard element from another Graphic 45 collection. I'm not sure what it was, but I thought that looked good there too. So that is that piece. And then I just put a brad through it and covered the brad's legs with this piece, so when I glue it on, it'll be secure. So I think that's it. I'm going to get everything laid down, and then we'll be back with the final walkthrough and decorations.